You don't play
Draenei.
World of Warcraft?
Yeah, it's a race from World of Warcraft. Big, blue, and Russian for some reason.
So Zariana, with the leveling up, I just added the amount of hit points that I gained from this level back to my own character. Is that normal, or should I not do that? I can take them all back.
I'm kind of fickle. It depends. Battle's already over, so I'd say this time you guys can, you leveled up, here your hit points back. But I change it sometimes because I've had players be like, oh, we leveled up and we're in the middle of a battle this session. Do I get all my hit points back? In those cases, no. But at this case, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I just gave myself the seven that I gained from the roll that I added on additionally, since I'm kind of still injured.
Also remember if you have a Constitution modifier.
Oh yeah, I had a really bad roll. It was sad.
Oh.
That's okay. I still have 47 health, so we're good.
For some reason, 47 health does not seem like a lot anymore.
Well, with my burst fire, I can do over 50 in one shot, so I guess, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, burst fire adds 2 dice of damage to my roll, so I can roll 5d10, plus 3 bonus attack points.
Ow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's scary.
It's gonna be fun. It does take 5 energy shots, but, you know. That's why I carry around extra energy packs.
Yep. Aelin's Heavy Blaster is now doing the standard 3d8 plus 1 plus 5. No, wait, that's base attack bonus. 3d8 plus 1. And then if I end up getting... by the way, if you can, make sure the target or any enemies we fight from now on are flat-footed, because I get an extra d6 to roll.
Yeah, I don't know how I can do that.
Yeah, that would require you guys to actually be sneaky for once.
I was.
I think.
Well, we were still we were trying to talk to the person in this last one. Otherwise, I would have been with you there.
Last time I was sneaky. I actually rolled the stealth.
I mean, technically, if they're grappled, if they're like being held by a force power, they're flat-footed too. So.
Yeah.
I'm probably when knocked prone by Bazak's. What's it again? Force slam.
Yep, there's also that.
Yeah,
flat-footed means
that's not
he's
good,
unaware of all of you. So even though Aeland may be stealthy, if one of his friends have already hit them, that's not really flat-footed.
Okay, so I'll just make sure that they're knocked on the ground and see if I can't take advantage of that.
Well, but we take a -5 attack to prone figures when we're shooting at them, though.
I have a +5 added because of my level for my attack roll, so I'm fine.
Yeah, I've got a +9. You're adorable.
Yes.
How did you get the... Where does those bonuses come from?
My dexterity is really high.
Oh, the good news is I should be able to roll at least higher than 2 on perception from now on.
Ha 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 ha, that's what you think.
Yeah, I know. The next level should be... Next stuff should be more interesting, but hopefully... Yeah.
So, Karath, how are you doing with the leveling stuff and choosing powers?
I'm good now. I chose my powers, I just haven't made macros for them, but I can just roll with my use the force button.
Slacking.
Oh yeah. Kyrath, I wanted to ask you. I was looking at your character sheet today, and you don't have a base attack bonus.
Oh, I forgot. For what?
Right, you see where it says force points?
Mm-hmm.
Right below that, it says
Oh,
AOE.
yeah, I forgot to put that in.
You're gonna want that because that affects how you hit things.
Yes, good point. Thank you.
I think you should have 3 now because you're level 3.
It
No,
depends
because
on the
nobles
class.
don't get one at level 1.
Okay, that's
So I only
true.
have 2.
All right. I actually hadn't noticed that you multi-classed until today, and I was looking at character sheet over, and I was like, "Oh, huh, okay." And now you're just like, "Okay."
Yeah, has anyone else multi-classed?
No, not that I saw.
Not I. I'm still the lovable, rugged spacer who can't see squat.
Yeah, I'm not until I prestige class, so.
One thing though, I read that because we read this in the last game I was in. For your defenses, your reflex, fortitude, and will, you don't get a conglomerate of all of the classes. You just get the best stats from one of them.
Yeah, I was pointing
You mean
that
I
to
thought it was the
someone.
best one from each of them?
Yeah.
No,
Mm.
it's the best from one of them. So whichever one of the 3 is the better one, you get those ones. But because
What?
one of my players, we were talking
Okay,
about
now I'm
that.
confused.
Wait, no, I thought the rules were like you don't add them together, but you just take the higher one in each stat. But you just don't like add 1 + 1 + 2
Oh.
and then have 4. You just have 2.
Yeah, I remember reading through it earlier today. Could have sworn that's what it said.
Yeah, what are you trying to say, Miss Ariana?
I'll look it up, but I thought because we'd had this discussion, I was pretty sure it was the best of one of them, but I'll look it up.
The best of one of what?
Your defenses, the reflex,
For the-
will defense, and fortitude.
Well, yeah, but I'm confused as to what she's saying actually happens with them.
I think she was saying you have to pick one class's bonuses and take
Oh.
those, whatever they happen to be.
No, that's not the way it looked there. Rather distinctly said you can take the... It had an example. Where was that? Class bonuses do not stack. You only apply the best bonus from all of your classes to each defense score. Continuing the previous example, if you were a Scout 6, Soldier 2, you would have a +2 class bonus to your Fortitude defense. This is the better bonus granted by being a soldier. And a +2 class bonus to your Reflex defense, also the better bonus granted by being a Scout.
Which page is that on?
36. Class bonuses to defenses.
All right, cool. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. we just had this discussion a couple of weeks ago, and so it kind of confused me. So, all right, that's cool.
Yeah, they don't stack in that you don't get you don't get reflex from both classes. You get the best reflex from one of the classes, but you can have a different class contribute the other defense type.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Like I said, I just got confused with them because we were discussing this, but that makes more sense. All right, did anyone else have any questions about this level?
Nope.
Well, I was just I was confused about the wording of the burst fire feat that I have now, because it made it sound like it still counted as an area attack, even though it's only targeting one person. But so I wasn't sure.
Where is that?
I don't remember what page it's on either. It's one of the earlier feats in the core rulebook. I do not have it open right now.
Yeah, I have it. It's a single attack against a single target. You take a -5 penalty on the attack roll, but you get to deal 2 more dice of damage with your weapon if you hit.
What page is it on?
82 of the core rulebook.
Yeah, so you can use it while it's still in auto fire mode, but as a
Oh yeah,
single
I missed
attack.
I missed that single attack part in the line. That's why I was confused. All right, makes sense.
Yeah, essentially it turns auto fire into a single attack.
Okay, yeah, I was
Single
just wanted to clarify that whether or not it counted as an area attack or not.
Yeah, without having to
For the
manually switch
hat miss,
weapon mode.
like if it misses, like doing half damage or whatever.
Yeah, I think you can still do auto fire. You just need to call out when you want it to be burst fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it gives you an option instead of having to manually spend whatever type of action to switch back and forth between modes. You can just have it in auto fire mode and use that.
Well, I mean, I'll burn
If you
through
want
ammo
that way.
faster, but
Yeah.
it'll
It's an
also
option.
deal more damage. But
Yeah, it's an option.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it only takes a swift action to switch, but it is useful.
Yeah, it's more useful just for the extra dice of damage.
That too. Yikes.
Yeah. And this is the only thing my criticism about the system is I don't like all of the -5 plus 10, and like I'd rather those type of stuff just were relegated to disadvantage and advantage because it's a lot of numbers you have to remember during a fight.
Yeah, I programmed different buttons for all of them, so.
Yeah, that's the thing about Roll20. It helps with that sort of thing.
That's true. It does help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I programmed like all the range penalties. I have buttons for all those too, so.
I sort of like other systems that have much smaller bonuses and negatives to rolls. The rolls here are massive. I've never seen a system that has dice checks for like 40.
Mhm. Well, I like the advantage is that you have a lot more cool things you can do, and there's more equipment, and there's just more general like rules on things, and that's nice. But for someone like me, I prefer more the story aspect of it, and the combat's just so that we know what happens and that it's fair. So when that sort of tends to start to overtake everything, that for me gets a little annoying.
Hmm.
But it, still a good system overall. All right, if there's no more questions or anything, I think we can get started then.
That description. Barry?
You don't want to try that anymore. You really don't.
Oh, no, you don't.
I know, I saw some of the stuff you had, but it's almost like a good luck charm kind of thing. And I did that last week, and look what happened.
Unfortunately, I have too many macros, and I have to bind some of them to my tokens. So that's one of the ones I don't have bound, that I don't have set up on the bottom.
You can just do it from the character sheet section tab thing. The ability section. You can just roll it
True.
from there. Also, you can pop the character information out into another window,
Yep, I've been doing that.
which is handy if you've got a second monitor in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I
don't.
did. That would be fun. I mean, both are kind of smallish, but
Mm.
ooh, I gotta set my modulator to without my helmet on because I am still not wearing my helmet. There we go.
Yeah, that reminds me. I think I should roll for something.
Okay, I think I finished my force power macros. But hopefully I won't have to use any of them this session. Because that means something really bad happened.
We still have to get out of Dodge, so to say, so there's a
Well, we're not in
possibility.
any immediate danger.
Yeah, until the spirits decide to attack us because we didn't kill the person. No.
Well, all they said
Say
was
we-
remove her.
Yeah.
Make her not a problem anymore.
Depends on what their definition of problem is.
Not in their city. Not destroying things.
Hopefully that's their definition.
That's not what Ajax is hoping their definition is.
Well, if it
I don't think he cares what their definition is.
well, if push comes to shove, we can always put Ajax and Miss Sith Lady in a room all by themselves and just kind of close the door and give them 5 minutes.
Worst case, I sabotage his armor and he can't move.
Yes, I'll get to kill someone.
Oh dear.
I'm trying to figure out how you get sabotage my armor.
I don't
Seems-
know.
That might be a pretty high skill check roll.
Mechanics?
Yes.
But then I also
Well, it's an
not
optic,
have
so
to
you can
notice I'm doing
teleport
it.
it.
Your lungs got crushed without even someone touching you. He's a force user. Not sure. I think it might be easier than you're thinking. You're thinking mechanically. He has
Well,
force.
Yes.
Well,
Well, he
also
said.
my armor is a lot more sturdy than my lungs, like
Hmm.
by a lot, like lightsaber resistant lungs.
Oh yeah, I have a power that could just stop your armor from working,
Oh no.
or your gun.
Yeah, he has. He has extra ammo for the gun. That might not be.
Yeah,
True,
and my
the
armor
armor's
is
a better
technically not
idea.
powered except for probably like my night vision.
Don't
True.
be Poe. Don't be Poe and just think that you could take on the force user. Didn't work out so well.
I mean, he's still alive. You just have to not see it coming.
Wait, does your armor
Pretty
use
sure you didn't see that coming.
optics, or does it have a visor?
What? Oh, it has a visor, so I'll be able to see out even without like a heads-up display. It does not say it has to be powered. It doesn't have a power pack or anything.
So apparently that option's out the window.
You can get it. You can make a fusion generator into your armor, so then you can power small weapons that are built into your armor with something that never runs out of power.
Well, if things work out better between us, you have a mechanic.
Yeah, what exactly are the limits of that power, Bazak?
Which power?
The one we were contemplating. Or you were contemplating and I knew what you were talking about.
And his
Drain
drain energy
energy?
thing.
Yeah.
It depends on how high I roll. I mean, technically, I could drain the power out of the reactor of a ship, and it would have no more power if I rolled high enough.
Okay.
What if it's a fusion reactor? Because technically that never runs out of power.
No,
Well,
fusion
I mean-
reactors can run out of power.
Well, if
Yeah.
you steal all of its, but that's not draining the. That would.
Drain
That's
energy
like
draining
sucks
a
all
sun.
the energy out
That's
of
just like
something.
that's like
it's
like
using the force though, so
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's like that'd be like the same thing as draining like a small sun.
It's a different form.
it might
of
say in the
thing.
power that it has to work on electrical energy.
You can draw power out of powered objects such as blaster power pack or a powered generator. It's mechanical. But he is right. He can like draw stuff out of a ship. I've actually used this before on the player's ships, and they were like, "How did all the power just go?" I don't know.
Oh, that's a great way to sabotage. Sneak a force user drain energy on this ship.
Yeah, that was fun. And she left a trail of bodies before they even got to the ship, so they were just kind of like, "What the heck?" So, yeah. The force powers in this book are pretty ridiculous. Oddly enough, their ridiculousness actually helps them to be more realistic and true to what they are in the books and movies and whatnot.
That's why I need better gun abilities. Well, I'm getting there.
The internet is being annoying.
Apparently, it's your turn to have the technical difficulties, huh?
It just circulates.
I'm opening the door to my room because apparently my legs can even block the signal to the internet.
That's impressive.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Your legs are made of lead. You might need to get that checked out.
My chair can block the signal. The door can block the signal. Yeah, I don't have a network card on this tower. I just have one of those little cruddy USB things.
You should just get a really, really long Ethernet cable.
Yeah, probably a better idea. I'm pretty
Like-
sure we actually have one, probably.
Like I'm talking like 400 feet, goes all the way into your basement or wherever. Goes everywhere.
It's only across the hall and into the other side of another room where the.
Oh, so that's
400
only like 50
400
feet.
Wait,
It's not even 50.
Did you say 400 feet? That's crazy. That would probably go around the border of our property.
I need like
Maybe
10,
not, but
15 feet
close.
for good measure.
Yeah, if you're upstairs and it's a 2-story house and your only connection's in the
1 story.
basement, you need 400 feet to get it there. You got to do what you got to do, right?
400 feet seems to me more like a couple of houses long.
Maybe you live in a
Yeah.
mansion. I don't know. It's just to make sure you have enough cord.
Yeah, definitely not a mansion.
You could run it through your walls.
Could always zip tie the extra stuff.
Also true. And it'd be really cool to just say I have a 400-foot Ethernet cable.
I mean, with that much Ethernet cable, you'd probably be creating a lag time between
Yeah.
you and somewhere else.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's gonna cause signal problems of one sort or another.
Man, you coil that much wire up, you're gonna create like a little magnet or something. Or little, I think.
Not if it's shielded well enough. I don't think.
It's just basic rubber on an Ethernet cable. And when you have 400 feet of it looped up,
Still, that is shielded. At least somewhat. Enough. I
Yeah,
would
but it
think,
adds up. you know, there's this tool for measuring, I think it's either amperage or voltage. And if you put that around a cord that's plugged into a wall socket and you do it the wrong way, or with the wrong, you can blow the breakers in the house. So it's not really shielded to that degree. Because what the tool does is basically it just clamps around any normal wire, not exposed wire, just like, like cord from your vacuum or anything like that, and detects the current.
I don't know. I don't know anything about that thing. But anyway.
Oh yeah, we're here to play a game, aren't we?
I think we're waiting on Aelin.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, my force powers are a lot more mundane, I guess, compared to you guys. Great. You are so OP. Really.
That will end eventually.
How much damage what's your max damage? Just curious. Like if you rolled all, like, highest you could roll.
Which power?
I'm just in general. Like, well, with your powers you had before at this level, in case you don't want to tell anyone what your powers are at this level.
Well, people could probably scroll up and see all the things that I tested already, so it
Well,
doesn't
that's
really
true.
matter. But let me look at my
Well, the
stuff.
max damage on move object
Yeah, that's
is
my
16d6.
yeah.
But that's a maximum size colossal station.
Yeah, that's absurd.
And you have to use a destiny point.
Oh, well, I'm talking like no points, just like straight up rolls.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
Welcome back.
Yay!
Well, you can do 10d6, I think, with the colossal move object.
So
Yep.
that's 60. Yeah, I'm close to that.
Yeah, the DC 35. Which he's pretty good at getting to really high levels. What is
Well, you
What
know,
is
it's
your
ridiculous.
bonus?
Force lightning is ridiculous.
First lightning?
It's
Yeah,
it's,
but that's single target.
force lightning. Yeah, but it's still absurdly powerful.
And I could get that with the right talent and not have it be dark
Yep,
side.
I'm aware.
Generally, it's usually used for the GM for fun, but yeah, there's a way he could use it.
I'm not terribly interested in Force Lightning.
It's really more fun if you're evil. It's just, see him, you get that Emperor moment. That's more fun.
Well, or you're Plo-Koon and you call it Electric Judgment instead.
Well, if the cause ever snaps, you know what I'll be picking.
Uh-oh.
And cackling madly.
This is assuming Because is not already snapped.
Yeah.
He used to be evil, and now he's just crazy. He snapped the other way.
Right, so are we ready to start?
Yes. I'm throwing the phone to Mom if it rings again, so.
Okay, then. Star Wars Legends of the Force, Episode 1, Chapter 6, Precarious Ground. Victory! The evil has been vanquished, or at least seemingly subdued. Yet even amongst this moment of relief, it seems tensions have only increased amongst the heroes. After a hurried battle with an unexpected enemy, the heroes debate about what to do with the now injured and unconscious villain. Yet not all were united in their decision, and after a quick tussle between acquaintances, eventually an agreement was met. Is this a sign of unity, or just cracks of something breaking? All right, so we pick up right where we left off. Pick up. You are the center of this old abandoned building. Shiloh has just performed about 20 minutes of surgery on Ajax, in which he managed to repair the inside of his lung, which was injured in the fight with the Sith. Aeland and Kalani are now looking after the young Sith as she floats in and out of consciousness, while Pakaz explores a new tunnel leading to the outside. What would you like to do?
Ooh, I forgot to mention when I was describing how Ajax looked without his armor, that he appeared to be in his late teens, early 20s. Figured I'd mention that right now.
Oh yeah, we finally got to see him.
You look strangely less alien than you expected.
So I guess now that I'm done with the surgery on Ajak, I will just sort of bandage him up and then apply some stimulant or something to wake him up since he was unconscious.
Well, Doc, how did it go?
It went well. There were no complications. It was definitely the force, you could tell, had squeezed against your lungs and crushed them. There was no other signs of trauma other than some inflammatory response, but I was able to reinflate them. But you should probably take it easy for a while.
Thanks.
We should probably go check on the others and see how the Sith is doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my armor back on first. I'll meet you over there.
And I didn't actually mean to say Sith, I meant to say Dark One or whatever, because I guess I don't actually know if she's a Sith or not.
It is heavily assumed.
So how are things going over here at Padawan Starfire?
How are things doing over here then?
Mm,
Anna?
you've been watching her, while keeping an eye on things going on around you. It's hard for you to tell because you're not a medical professional at all, but she seems to be coming in and out of consciousness. She whispers things here and there, nothing coherent, nothing understandable, but she barely moves. Mostly, it's sort of like she seems to become trapped in a dream state almost. Even when her eyes are open, you can tell that they're not really open. She's not really seeing anything in front of her. But other than that, nothing's really changed.
She hasn't really regained a proper consciousness yet. Fading in and out. Partial, I suppose, but not really properly awake and aware. We got the armor off. It's over there. We point to the pile.
Did you find anything else of interest?
I'll pull out the what is it called again? Personal hollow projector. I found this. Anyone else know more about this and figure out who she's been communicating with, maybe?
I can take a look at it if you want.
Okay, you doing okay?
I'll be fine. Shiloh patched me up. Also, Shiloh, do you think we have enough? Does she need to get to a medical base since apparently we're keeping her alive? Or do we have time to go back to that computer in that other room? Because I have a feeling once we leave here, those spirits aren't going to let us come back. And it might have more data than the data pad that we took.
Yeah, I think she's in a pretty critical condition, so I'm not even sure if we could move her. But we should definitely decide now what we're choose to do.
We need to find out what's been going on here.
Well, we can take the data pad with us, we just can't move that heavier equipment. Well, we could, it would just take us a long time.
I have the data pad. It's alright. We don't have to worry about it. But if she's in a critical condition and we want to get her home, we'll have to move her eventually. Or else she's gonna sit here and die.
Do we have any way to move her? Stretcher or something? Or can make one, maybe?
Well, Hakas used the Force to lift something back before. We just have to be a little bit more careful this time.
And not twirl it around like a little baton.
And I facepalm at that.
So I will bend down and sort of just check on her condition and see if I think that we can move her or how close she is to death at this point, and if she's close to regaining consciousness.
All right, go ahead and make a life science roll. All right. You look her over. She looks fairly hurt still. But it's not to the point where if you weren't careful, you couldn't move her. So if you were careful, you could probably move her along. But at this point, because the figure looks up to you and says, "Hey, how's it going? You guys have been in there a long time."
I suddenly snap my head up and look at it and it's like, yes, I suppose we have.
What?
Well, we've dealt with the problem anyways.
Well, I think we should find the others, or maybe you could lead them to me. Kind of didn't come here on my own. And at this point, you hear the familiar sounds that have been throughout this area.
I look back over my shoulders and gesture backwards. They're over there.
Oh boy, what's going on now?
All right, the rest of you see as Red approaches with Pakaz behind him, as well as the sort of wind-like presence of the spirits as they all kind of come through this secret passage.
Well, hello again.
You have taken care of it?
She is currently apprehended right now. Her life is still with her, but I don't know what you would exactly expect us to do. She is now currently helpless.
Do you take responsibility for her? Will you watch over her?
I'll take her back to our civilization and judge her.
We have forgotten much of who we were. But we do remember that we believed in redemption. We were not without mercy. If you will take her away, promise she will not return. And you will not return. We will let you go.
We will seek to honor your wishes to the best of our ability and not return here, and to the best of our ability keep her from returning as well.
Ayland will kneel down, or not kneel down, but squat down next to the Dark Lady and will look up at the ghost at the same time and go, "Aye."
Then you are free to leave. At that moment, the wind around you starts to pick up, and you feel like you're at the center of a tornado as everything gets blurry. You have to put your hands up to keep dust and dirt out of your eyes.
Um,
When the dust clears and the gust is gone, the sound goes away. You find yourselves at the outside of town. Just a few minutes walk from the outside gate. You look around yourselves, you see each of your comrades all in a tight circle around you. At the center of the circle is the young Sith girl, still unconscious, still unaware, as well as a large wooden box.
okay. Oh, when they said we're free to leave, I guess they really meant leave now.
Yeah, I think they need to look up the definition of free to leave, and we are forcing you to go very rapidly, and that was very strange.
This is quite an impressive display of power on their part.
Very.
Kakaz nods.
Makes you wonder why they couldn't deal with the problem on their own.
He looks a little bit surprised.
Indeed.
Ellen just kind of keeps looking down and finally comes to the conclusion, or starts rolling in his head. Shalala, can she be moved safely, or do we need Pakaz to float her over to Mid-Bay?
I think she's stable enough to move, although telekinesis might still be the best way to move her, if you're up for that.
Yeah, she just lifts up.
So what is this other thing this year? This wasn't with us.
I'll go take a closer look at that.
They didn't go inside any Force users' heads, did they? They didn't tell you about it?
Not me.
I don't know anything about this.
Kalani, you come up to the box. It's a pretty nondescript, nothing remarkable about it, just ordinary brown wooden box. It seems to have a lid and a latch, but it's not locked.
I walk up
Um,
up beside Kalani and don't really say anything. I'm just looking at the box.
You see the same thing she does. What are you rolling for?
whether to open the box.
Depending on on how long she takes to open the box, I just open it. Meaning if you take more than a minute to open it, I open it.
I'd say with that roll, Kalani, you can choose. Do you want to open it, or do you want to let him open it?
it seems safe and all that.
Yeah, can I make
Think
like a
of- think
mechanics
like a
check to
colony.
see if there's something dangerous inside it? If we open it or bring it inside the colony,
Okay,
that
gotta
might destroy
remember.
us.
I gotta remember to think like a colony. I'm gonna open it.
You open it and you find a stash of credits. What looks to be a piece of armor and some sort of circlet.
Okay.
You hear Prakaz mutter, they were pretty generous.
Wait, so what happened to the armor that they took off of the Force user? Is that what this armor is, or is it what happened to that armor?
Kalani checks in her bag. The armor that she took off the Sith is still there.
It wasn't in
Okay.
my bag before.
All right, well, then it's to the side.
It teleported with us.
Seems about just about anything you guys sort of claimed or wasn't part of that original area is there with you.
So even the generator and the console from that other room?
Just what I was wondering.
That is not there.
Darn.
Unfortunate. That's what the Jaina pad is for, right?
Better than nothing.
So I'll look at the stuff in the box more closely.
All right, which things do you want to pick up?
I'll
As you're
say
doing this, do you
there's-
say anything, Kalani?
There's 3 things, so I'll let three of you pick up one thing to look at.
I want to look at the circlet if she doesn't.
I guess I would have said, wow, I guess we got a reward?
I nod.
And what are those big things?
There is a rather nice stack of credits to one side of the box. There, in the center of the box, is a black folded up piece of armor. And then to the other side is a small bronze circlet.
I'm curious about the circlet.
Yeah, me too.
Kalani opened the
Uh,
box, so she goes first.
Yep.
Before I do that, is there anything more specific about the armor you can tell me while I'm glancing and deciding what to grab?
You gotta pick it up to know.
It's like, I mean, is it big, heavy armor, or...
You don't know, you haven't picked it up.
I can't tell at a glance.
If a dress is folded in a box, can you tell it's a dress?
I can tell it's light fabric. Or heavy fabric, as the case may be.
You have to touch it first.
You're trying to
Um.
quick make a decision before Pakaz swoops in and grabs stuff,
Just stop arguing
so
and
you
pick
can't
up.
really see.
Just go for it, Kalani. Come on.
I'm gonna...
It's not like I'm gonna take the thing and run off with it. Well, then you don't know that character.
yeah.
I mean, he already got a lightsaber, so he's happy.
Lightsaber question mark?
How many other people were paying attention to me while I was doing that?
The box is at the center. Oh, you're talking about the lightsaber. Kalani was.
Okay, so that's one person. Well, what do you grab?
The circle thing.
All right. Why don't you give me a use the force check on that? Who wants to look at the next item?
I'll take a look at the credits and see how many there are.
All right. So you look at the credits. Who wants to look at the armor?
Who else is paying attention in the first place, I wonder?
Well, the box is at the center of you all. So you guys are like literally just standing there with both these things at the center. So just about everyone sees you guys do this.
it would be up to you, Kylar, Kyrath. Aelin is more concerned over the girl, so
Yeah, same.
And-
I'm keeping a careful eye on her.
yeah. Well, Aelin is more caring rather than careful from your point of view.
Well, yeah,
you might
I'm
be able to see that.
I'm standing over to make sure nothing bad happens.
Yeah, I feel like Shyalu is also keeping an eye on her to see what her condition is. Wait, so is Pakaz still holding her in the air while looking at the credit?
That's what I'm trying to
the
figure out.
box,
This
or
looks
do we put her
weird.
back down or drop her.
We'll say you haven't picked her up yet.
Okay.
Kalani, this is the information you know based on that check, okay? Who's looking at the armor?
No one at the moment.
All right. Then, Pakaz, you take a few moments.
Well, am I supposed to have gotten something information?
Look at your inventory. Look at your handouts. Because you've taken a few moments, you've counted up. There are 5,000 credits there.
His eyes are really wide. Picard splits it into 1,000 credits each and gives 1,000 to everyone.
Thank you, Lottie.
Ajax takes it, but doesn't really seem to be paying that much attention to the amount or anything. He puts it in his pouch and keeps looking for any signs of trouble.
Wait, I just have. Would we split it with Zared too, since he was there?
You may certainly
Even though
ask
he's
him.
not a PC anymore, I feel like we should probably split it 6 ways.
You may certainly ask him.
That is true. Think about that.
Kalani is distracted and
I turned
kind
it.
of purring happily.
I split it 6 ways and hand one share of it to him.
As you try and give it to Zared, he just pushed it. No, this was your journey, not mine. I'll get paid. I get paid back at the base. My friends will take care of me. I think this belongs to you.
Picard shrugs and hands it out 5 ways.
Aelin will
And then he goes over to Kalani and asks her what the circlet is.
while they're doing that, Aelin will kind of put his hands up almost in a fuss and kind of look down at the armor and figure out what's going on with it.
Okay, make a mechanics check. Or you can make a knowledge tech check. Your choice.
How would I describe this in character? I wonder. I don't know. There's the mechanics side of it, but how do I translate that into
You could let me examine it.
That was a knowledge.
Just a sec, Kalani. I'll whisper you.
Was that a galactic lore knowledge or mechanics? Or was that a different knowledge check?
You can either make a mechanics check or a technological knowledge check. Up to you, which one you want to use.
It's the same number either way.
Alright, Barry, go ahead and check your inventory.
And Ajax will just ask Zred real quick.
Well, it looks like our mission together is over. You mind handing me back my comlink? It might come in handy if I ever meet someone else that would actually be useful to have along with us in the party.
Oh, of course. And he takes it out of his bag and hands it to you.
Thank you.
Because he's still looking questioningly at Kalani.
Okay. Sorry. It's I'm still not sure how to explain it. It's like it somehow enhances the connection and attunement with your lightsaber. Her eyes are kind of sparkling, and she's kind of purring. Shiny.
Pikazu's eyes suddenly start sparkling too. Can I examine it?
I am going to make a perception roll.
Well,
Because
there's no deception here. I'll just ask me.
yeah, but his intentions.
Well, are you asking me what his intentions are? They're fairly obvious. He just wants to examine it.
Yeah, but then is he going to keep it?
Well, no.
Up to you, Kalani. You can let him have it, or you can say, nope, mine.
I mean, he's a mechanic and a force user. Thus, an item that is connected to the force.
Slightly reluctantly hand it over. Okay.
I start looking at it and examining it. Is it technological in nature in any way?
If you check with your mechanics, all you see is a bronze circlet with ornate detail.
What if I check with the force?
Go ahead and roll.
Picard hands it back to Kalani.
Do you find out anything else?
Not really. What you described about it basically says it all. It's not technological in any way that I can tell.
So I'll look at it a bit more and then put it on my head. And grin.
All right, Connie. As you put it on your head, a few moments, and it seems to fit perfectly. It even makes it so that your ears are not being interfered by the circlet. It fits on your head like it was made for you.
Like I said, grinning. Which is a rather toothy grin, but very happy.
So shall we escort this Force user to some place where she can be treated and kept under guard?
Well, if nothing else, I'll come with you.
Yeah, let's go
Because
ahead and
picks
make
her
sure.
up and wanders off towards the governor's office.
Or we could just follow Pacaz as he wanders off again. By the way, if y'all want to know about that armor, just let me know. I need to think about it a little bit. It's not bad. It's got some Durasteel in it, but that's about all I can make out of it from right
I am
now.
bounding off after because
Yeah, Ajax will follow.
Well, perhaps you could ask Ajax to take a look at the armor. I'm sure he's knowledgeable about such things.
He'll
Then I'll
look
follow
at
after Pakaz.
and Elon will kind of mutter. He'll look at it and probably say it's not Mando armor and then throw it away.
As you reach the gate, it's gotten pretty dark out here. It's late at night. But you come upon the gate guards, who are more aware than normal, but that's to be expected with current events. They give you a little bit of trouble first, but then when they see you and recognize you, they allow you entry. They give a glance at the newcomer floating behind you, but they can kind of see that she's clearly not an issue, and so they sort of just let you pass. Where would you like to go?
Well, I'm headed towards the governor's office.
I think before we talk to anybody, we should decide what we're going to say and what we're not going to say. She had information. She was looking into all of the systems. We don't know, and she obviously came here somehow, possibly on one of the ships. We don't know if she had other people here that were working with her. So we might not want to share all the details. Or maybe hand over that data pad.
Well, Pakaz hasn't stopped moving. He's still just walking ahead.
Elon will stare right at Ajax and just kind of say, "What data pod?"
Are you suggesting that we don't tell the governor?
I'm saying that we might not want to tell her everything. But mainly not to hand over the data pad. Or maybe possibly if she's with other people to speak to her alone. Until we can figure out what's on the data pad and what's in it to make sure no one else is involved.
Are you guys keeping pace with me?
I
I
think
don't
you guys
know,
are all
did
moving in a
Ajax
group.
stand still, or did we?
Okay. Well,
No, I
never
was still
stopped.
walking. It was just kind of like having a conversation as we were walking towards it.
Pakaz doesn't really say anything.
But you still want to tell her about the monitoring of the colony?
I think we should. But I'm not sure we should tell it to her if anyone else is in the room. Just to be on the safe side.
Including the
well,
High
that I
Commander?
can understand.
Because
but-
I'm sure he'll be there.
I figured the High Commander would be alright.
Yeah.
I'm a little more concerned about some of the others.
Yeah, anyone but uh, the mayor and the high commander. I'm not sure we want to tell them, but why wouldn't we tell the mayor and the high commander about the data pad or whatever else?
If they take it to have it analyzed, someone else that is working for this group, that if this girl was talking about gets wind of it and they know that she failed in whatever she was doing, they might send more people to come here. So we should try and find out what's on the data pad before we hand it over to anyone to make sure that we can trust that it doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
How do we know that one of us isn't the wrong hands?
And I facepalm.
Is he looking at me?
He's,
He's pointedly not looking at anyone in particular. He was just saying.
Especially because.
Well, I think our actions back at the city would tend to suggest that we are not on her side.
so what about the hollow projector? Should we keep that a secret?
Yeah, at least until we can figure out what it is, I don't think we should, although it's not only up to me. I just thought I would mention it before we got there.
If we're worried about other people getting this information, that's one thing, but the mayor and the high commander would be able to understand that and worry about that as well. So why can't we tell them?
Because they might tell us that they trust whoever was working in their tech area, and we don't know if they're actually trustworthy. We'd be taking, well, their presuppositions about their own people. And because if we tell it, they might demand that we hand it over so they can look at it. If we don't tell them it exists, they won't know to ask for it.
Well, I guess if we're presupposing that this is an organized mission specifically meant to infiltrate the colony, then it would stand to reason that since none of us were meant to be on this colony voyage, that we're all above reproach, and we can trust each other.
Or the exact opposite.
My head hurts.
Have we reached the governor's office yet?
You are just approaching it now. At the assembly chamber. There's 2 guards outside of the door. There is light on the outside, but the inside looks fairly dark.
The thing is, it could be important for them to know about this.
As I approached the guards, I asked them where the governor is.
Governor Becca Lovelace has retired for the evening. She's inside, asleep. Is there, and he looks over and sees, can this wait till the morning?
Probably better that it's dealt with now. There could be safety issues.
Yeah, we have a prisoner that must be taken care of. She's wounded, for one thing, and if she awakens, she could be potentially dangerous. She
Well, if
recovers
it's-
enough.
Well, if it's a prisoner you're worried about, it's probably better to take her to the barracks. I think the High Commander has night duty today.
She needs medical attention too.
Sure, the High Commander will see to that.
Okay. Because asks for directions.
He points out a building, kind of to the east. It's larger than the other ones, significantly more guarded, but it's like probably a 2-minute walk.
Because nods, his tentacle is shaking a little bit, and heads off in that direction. Body in tow.
Aelin will follow.
Well, if you could let the governor know that we wish to speak with her when she is ready in the morning, that would be appreciated.
Yes, sir. Alright. So you walk off, get to the barracks building, you identify yourselves, and after a moment the guards, they let you in. You do you wanna they offer to take her to a cell while you go and speak to the commander.
I tell them she needs medical attention and should be kept under heavy guard.
They nod to you as they take her. One of the guards runs off to find a doctor, while the rest take her to a cell towards the end.
And I emphasize the heavy guard part.
They look at you a little inquisitively, but then thinking about the stuff that's happened, they you can see they double up a little bit more.
Yeah, we're not sure exactly who she is or where she came from, but she's a dark side force user and quite powerful, at least when she's not in this incapacitated state.
At this point, one of the guards looks, he says, why don't you go grab one of the force users too, just to be safe? And he's like, yes, sir.
Or perhaps we could accompany you with the prisoner, and Commander Sharp could meet us there to discuss this matter.
Discuss what matter? And you see coming up in his still nice and tailored and well-kept uniform, despite the night, High Commander Sharp walking up from his office to greet you. Ah, you returned. So, did you find what you were looking for?
Because nods.
Well, I'm not sure that's exactly what we were looking for, but we found something.
It was a bit more complicated than expected, and what things were going on and everything.
Great.
Yes, I think we found more than we were looking for.
Well then, why don't you step into my office and we'll discuss it. Human, any orders they've given you, take care of it now. Where you said that she needed heavy guard?
Because nods.
Aye.
Go get the sentinels sleeping out on Westgate. Yeah, you heard me. I know that they're sleeping. Go on. All right, follow me. Leads you down a short hallway into a metal door that he opens. His office is much different from the governor's, whereas hers was plain but decorated. His is just plain. There's a couple of his medals hanging on some of the walls. A few weapons. You can't tell if they're for decoration or for actual use. But other than that, there's just a metal desk with a computer on it and two chairs in front. He sits down behind and offers the two chairs to some of you. And then he leans in. All right, why don't you start from the beginning? Zared, why don't you go ahead and wait outside? I'll talk to you afterwards. And Zared nods and walks out. Now, what'd you find?
The person who broke in and stole the fire extinguishers, and probably who started the fire.
Well, that's being a bit non-descriptive. Sir, we came through the forest. We found we followed. It seemed to be some sort of force presence, I guess. I can't feel it, but that's what I've been told. We followed the trail back where Zared led us. We found a wall, and we opened it, and inside there was a massive deserted ancient city. Some force beings surrounded us. They said that they were the residents of the city a long time ago, and that they had been displeased because someone had infiltrated the city and was defiling it. And we managed to reason with them and convince them that we were not associated with that person. They were planning on basically forcing the whole planet to attack the colony and force us out. But we agreed to go in and find this being who was defiling their city.
They did mention that it was this person who was controlling the cats and making them dangerous.
Well, yes, but they also were going to make the colonists leave the planet. But they agreed that if we dealt with the problem, that they would allow the colony to stay. We went to the middle of the city, into a building. We worked towards the center where we felt this being's force presence, I guess. Shialu and Pekaz and Kalani led us there. We found some sort of data console that was monitoring and getting heavy sensor readings from the colony itself. They had hijacked the satellite sensor systems and were gathering massive amounts of data, keeping an eye on us. We still don't know exactly what the person was doing. But they were definitely keeping an eye on the colony, which might be how they came in, knew exactly how to sabotage the fire extinguishers. So we confronted the being. We tried to reason with her, but she kept telling us to leave. She attacked us with the force very powerfully, but we managed to take her down. She is still very dangerous. She crushed the inside of my lungs with ease. She needs to be under heavy guard and heavy protection, because now that we went through all this trouble to keep her alive, which I'm not necessarily sure was the best idea, we don't want someone else to be able to go in and kill her. She could have useful information. She could not. All we know is that she said she was raised from birth to do something, and that she couldn't back down from it. We still don't know what she was doing there, why she was doing it, who she works for. But that's where we stand at the moment.
Well, this is certainly
The spirits
disturbing.
did mention she appeared on the planet when we did.
Wait, no, wasn't it after we did?
Nope, same time.
All right, let's put aside the fact that you've brought a dark force user into this camp and endangered everyone. The
Against my
spirits.
suggestions, sir, unfortunately.
Let's put that matter down for now.
She is heavily incapacitated at the moment, and she's the only one who really knows what's going on.
What are you trying to see, Eland?
I'm just trying to gauge his reactions to what he's being informed about the briefing, trying to gauge how he's taking things.
All right. In the beginning, when you're describing, he looks a little bored, kind of like, all right, let's move things along. When you start mentioning the spirits, you see his demeanor changes, and he stops staring at you guys and sort of just kind of looks off the distance. And you can see he's hearing things, but mostly his cogs are turning, and he looks rather disturbed and a little upset at the current turn of events. He starts, you can see kind of when he speaks, he's taking things in, but he still is very to the point in everything that he says. You can tell he's not super happy about what he's being told. These spirits, you said they were trying to scare us off? What for?
They
Because
thought
of
we
the
were
actions of the
desecrating
Dark
their
One.
city when it was her.
They did not understand the difference between this Dark One and us.
When you say scared away, what exactly does that mean?
They wanted us to leave the planet. But now that we have dealt with the problem, they've agreed to let the colonists stay on the planet as long as they don't venture into the city.
Well, that's not entirely accurate. They still express their displeasure. They have some sort of sense that the entire planet belongs to them, and that our presence here is disturbing them. And they do have great power in the Force, or something. And they said that we could stay for the time being, but they would still like us to leave as long. But they also imposed restrictions that no one would be allowed to enter into their forest or city. Otherwise, they would take firmer measures against us. And I believe that we should heed their warnings.
I can talk with them if you want.
I'm not sure how much talk is going to get us. Doesn't get us very far in Coruscant. Now, these people here, these spirits.
What do you mean it doesn't... What?
In Coruscant, we have politicians who constantly talk. They've been talking, and Revan still betrayed us. We're still at war. Now, if we go and talk to these other people who, for whatever reason, want us gone, on a scale from 1 to 10, how willing do you think they are to go from seemingly okay with our existence for now to deciding, well, now scaring off isn't enough, let's just eliminate them?
I would suggest no further contact with them, honestly. They didn't seem too keen on the idea of interacting. They barely told us anything about their past, why they exactly wanted their city kept safe, who they were. We don't really know that much about them, and they did not seem very willing to give it. If you wish to avoid a confrontation, I would suggest not doing that.
If you consider that their first contact with us, or air quotes us, was this Force user who was damaging their city and trespassing on their property, it seems a bit understandable. At least now they understand that it wasn't us.
Yes, they also did express some desire that we remember them, and that they once were a great civilization who held this planet in their control, and they wish to be remembered for that.
You sound like the governor.
They did not want to be forgotten, but they also did not want to be interfered with.
They're rightly so not very trusting at the moment. Again, the first person they had contact with was hostile to them.
Well, then I'll make sure we don't disturb them any longer. That's a given. But I'm still not comfortable with them being only a few miles from us, and if what you're telling me is true, they seem like they're rather powerful.
They took us right out of the building and made us appear somehow right outside of the colony. So yes, they are like nothing I've ever seen.
Well, note to self, get off this rock as soon as possible. Alright, moving on from the creepy spirits in the forest, let's talk about this girl. You say she's some sort of dark force user. Do you know if she works for Revan or any other sort of Sith we recognize?
She was not forthcoming with information, but the way she was talking was very strange and conflicted. Like, she didn't want to hurt us, but somehow was feeling forced to.
Well, she did say she had a duty when I first managed to talk to her when the fire was happening.
There's something more going on with her.
She did say she was raised from birth to do a duty. So that would lead me to believe that she is working for or with other people. But we don't know if that's Revan's army or some other dark force presence, or even someone who raised her but is not force sensitive themselves but has an agenda.
Hence why we should keep her alive and try to get information out of her.
That certainly seems to be our only option, since you guys weren't very talkative, or encouraged her to be. So, you say she's wounded. Is she gonna be I mean, what's the point of rescuing her if she's too wounded to talk? Is that even gonna be a possibility?
Well, she was very violently slammed into a wall, and many of the bones in her body are currently broken. I tried to stabilize her so that she wouldn't lose her grip on this life entirely. She was seeming to be flickering in and out of consciousness, so I believe it should be possible to communicate with her. But she's
Also,
very severely injured.
also, would you prefer a chance of more information or no information at all?
It depends. Strategically, yes, we need to know what's going on. I would like to know why there's a Force user here. However, my gut tells me she could be more trouble than she's worth.
I will stay with her.
Well, unfortunately, our only other source of information is the stuff that she had back in the city. But as we've already mentioned, there's no possibility of us going back there and retrieving it. So she's our only lead now.
As well as the data pad and other equipment.
Please tell me you said that out of character and not as Pakaz.
No, I said it in character.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where Ajax goes over and crushes Pakaz's throat with
Uh-oh.
both hands.
I mean, I need payback for when he shocked me almost to death. So.
How aware is he of that right now? Did he even remember that?
I didn't quite catch what he said. Someone else was talking. What did you say, Prakash? Yeah,
The
in
commander. That we have the data pad and a hollow projector that we could get information from as well.
All right.
I'm getting out the holo projector.
Let me see those. He puts his hand out towards you for both.
I'll give him the holo projector.
He takes it, puts it to the side, and in the data pad.
Begging your permission, Commander, if you would, I'd prefer to keep my hands on the data pad for now. As soon as I get it cracked open and learn anything, I will let you know, though.
Can I at least see it?
And with that, he pulls it out and lets him see it.
He takes it from your hand. It kind of gives you a sort of frown, but also a look of, don't trust me. He takes it, he kind of looks at it, looks at you.
Trying to make sure he's being nice with the projector, with the data pad, is not doing anything funky.
He's just, you see him sort of scrolling through. You can definitely see he tries at the password. I mean, why not? He then, once that fails, he turns it over, he looks at the back, just sort of generally examines it. He hands it back to you. Well, that's definitely Sith tech. That doesn't bode well. He then looks at the comm link.
Kalani shudders at the mention of Sith.
If I have enough time, I should be able to remember a few
Kaz looks
algorithms.
confused.
I should remember a few algorithms for hacking that should be able to crack it open, but it's going to take me a little while first.
He hands you back the comm link, Connie. This seems standard. I don't see any interesting things about it, but if it was hers, we might be able to track some signals or maybe check a message. I don't know. It looks encrypted.
I'm not an expert on that sort of thing.
Neither am I. That's why I'm the commander. All right. You keep your devices. Let me know if you figure anything else out about them. Is there any other information you'd like to let me in on, or
Well, there's something I need to talk to you about privately.
All right. What about the rest of you?
Well, he said privately. I'm fine heading out. I have a few things to do anyways.
I'll
Kaz
kind
shakes
of
his
look
head.
questioningly at Ajax.
And then tells the commander he'll help keep watch on the prisoner. And heads off to find the prisoner.
Before you leave, he says. Before you leave, he says, "Please do. The only other Force users we have here are subpar and didn't even make Jedi. So, I would prefer if a couple of you were around."
Yes, I'm thinking I better go guard her as well.
I presume the governor will wish to speak with us about these matters in the morning.
Yeah, but in the morning. Let's let her sleep. I'll see you. I'll come and find you when she's ready.
I will accompany Pakaz and Kalani to keep watch, if that's where they're going.
All right.
Yeah, I basically go find a guard and ask for directions.
And Aelon will go back to his bunk, try to figure out if he can't remember some of the old passwords and whatnot, algorithms, look through his stuff, see if he can't find something that'll jog his memory to hack at this thing.
Also,
If you're
a
splitting up,
quick reminder to
then
the group.
Hmm?
Didn't we put her in a coma sort of thing?
Yeah.
not well
Sort of.
sedatives.
Was that in
Um,
character or out of character?
What?
Out of character. I just wanted to make
Okay,
sure
yeah.
we're all remember that.
She's definitely
Yeah.
gonna have to sleep off whatever you've given her.
Yeah.
But
Where
if nothing else
was I?
happens, my intent is to go to wherever she's being held and then force trans for 4 hours and get some rest.
Let's see. I was saying that if Aelin and us are splitting up, then I'll say, here, you better take a look at this too, and hand him the holoprojector.
Okay. He'll nod and take it, accept it from you.
All right. With that, you three, she's kind of a little bit down. There's down 2 hallways, and then on the cell towards the back, you see that she's got her hands have been put into binder cuffs, but she's been placed on a bed with a little bit better conditions than the other cells. There is some sort of doctor looking her over, as well as several guards that line the hallway. You guys can decide where you want to be in the cell, out the cell, wherever.
That reminds me, as I get there and see the doctors, I ask if they have any spare clothes for her because I want my cloak back.
All right.
They've put her in some prison clothes.
Okay, I asked them for my cloak.
One of the guards gives it back to you.
I thank them, and then I find probably a place on the floor in a corner somewhere, and just go and do a force trans.
All right. Aland, are you going back to your barracks to look at this stuff?
Yeah.
Right. Then you'll spend. Do you want to spend all of the night or just a little bit of the night?
That's what I was trying to figure out. I'll probably spend all of the night, at least till the morning, trying to hack this thing. He's kind of determined now.
All right. How about you make for me 2 use the force checks? While he's doing that, Ajak, go ahead and do what you want to do.
Say that again?
Wait, use the force?
Sorry, use computer. They start the same way.
Oh, sir. We mentioned that they had a lot of sensor readings of the entire colony. That included layouts, building locations, and I just wanted to let you know that we weren't able to determine. Well, I wasn't able to determine either was Kalani whether or not they would have been able to find the location of that emergency stash of supplies that you had. If it is the Sith and they were gathering intel for an attack, you might want to consider moving that so that the colony still has emergency supplies if it's required.
Yeah, I was sort of thinking about that. You mentioned you disagreed with the others. Tell me, exactly, what's your opinion of all this?
Well, at the end of the fight, she had wounded me pretty badly to begin with. I wasn't thinking exactly clearly, and I do not know exactly how the Force functions. I admit that. But from my perspective, as a soldier, bringing her here may have been a mistake. I tried to kill her back at the compound, and the others intervened. Not completely without reason, I can see their point. And I'm willing to gather information. I agree that she's a valuable asset for information, but she almost killed me in a split second. And I'm concerned that if we let down our guard for a second on her, that she will escape, possibly contact people that she's working for, or kill many people in the colony. If she's unwilling to cooperate and give us intel within the first couple times of speaking with her, I am not sure what we should do. But it might be in the colony's best interests to not have her in the colony.
Agreed. Fortunately, my hands are a bit tied on that. See, if I do something without consulting the governor, she's going to be extremely angry with me. And I'm afraid that if I do consult with her, she'll side with your friends. She tends to be forgiving.
I think as long as Force user is monitoring her at all times, we should be able to contain her. But then the problem comes. The problem comes when we, if she refuses to cooperate or still seems extremely hostile. I'm not sure there's a long-term containment solution that we can reasonably have here other than medically inducing a coma.
That may be what I recommend. I agree with you on this, surprisingly, Mandalorian. I won't betray the governor, and I won't go against her orders to a degree. But you're not necessarily bound by those orders. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do. However, as the leader, I feel honor-bound to honor her requests as long as they do not completely disregard the safety of the colony. If she decides to not medically induce a coma, or at least put some measures in place to prevent her from causing harm to this colony, I may be willing to work around that. But I will not outright disobey her. I will not, if she says that the prisoner is not to be killed, I will not kill her.
You surprise me. I was told Mandalorians had no honor. They only preached it. But you seem
You do
to
not know
actually
the
have
true
it.
Boy.
Mandalorians.
Oh boy.
The Mandalorian order was, the Mandalorian way has been hijacked of late. The Mandalorian way that I know is not what has been on display to the rest of the galaxy. The Neo Crusaders have distorted and ruined everything that was good. And we're struggling to rebuild our society with people that actually believe the tenets of the Mandalorian way.
Well, I'm not certain how much truth there is in that. You certainly have my respect as an individual. Very well. Maybe I'm just tired. It is late and I've got several more hours to go. Very well. Just keep what I've said here in mind. I'm not asking you to simply go in that next cell while your friends are sleeping and shoot her, but it's nice to know that I have someone who at least thinks the way I do around here.
I will. I will see you in the morning.
Try and get some rest.
Yeah, I need it. Yeah.
And then Ajax will walk out of the room and go join Alon in the barrack.
All right. Barry, I did update the data on that data pad. I don't know if you saw.
Boogie.
So you may share that as you like.
I still have it as currently unhackable.
Try now.
Okay, once it reappears in my inventory.
So is there something going on before I get back to the barracks, or
He can see. He can tell you whatever he likes.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were considering me at the barracks now or what, because I would talk to him if I was back now.
Well, you're by yourself. There's no point in detailing your journey there. So.
Okay, I was just checking. Well, I wasn't sure if you were gonna have something going on in the prisoner's cell or something like area while I was walking back or whatnot.
Nah, they're all sleeping.
Okay.
It still says the same.
Well, Elon, did you manage to crack it?
That's so weird. Okay.
I've got a few things useful out of it. Take a look at that armor over there, and he points over at the main partition where a armor is up on display. Just kind of a black armor with some Durasteel on it. And looks kind of shiny and nice. And he's like, "Let me know if you'd like that. Don't throw it away, please. I need to go through and see if it fits me or whatnot. And go ahead and look at that. I've got a few more things to mess here on this pad first."
Sure. If I don't pass out first.
Completely understandable.
Yeah, that's kind of a low-ish roll. Do I have the stamina to stay awake?
I'm gonna say with that roll, you get to the armor. You look at the armor, it's black, and you fall asleep with the armor in your bed. All right, so it's a little odd number, but it's 9:40, and we're kind of at a good place to just pause. So we're gonna do that and take a 10-minute break.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Okie dokie.